Hey, this is Mitch from Pencil Kings, and I help artists create income streams. If you've been following along, I'm on, or I should have been on, day 4 of my 100-day artist challenge, and I didn't release a video yesterday, so I already fell down, which is totally okay. And I'm going to create a new video for today, the 5th day. But before I do that, and before you watch that, yesterday I did create some content. I created a podcast explaining in long form what this challenge is all about and why it's important. And so I'm going to include that right here while I get busy working on today's video, which is going to talk about what to do when you eventually fall down, or when you can't complete or move forward with things. So enjoy the podcast while I'm working on the new video, and I'll see you soon. Hey, this is Mitch from Pencil Kings, where I talk with artists to uncover the personal behind-the-scenes stories of how they're able to live life in alignment with their creativity, meaning spending more time doing things they love and less time doing things they don't. I'm also the founder of Pencil Kings, and I'm actually going to just jump into and tell my story because I am going to interview or talk to myself today. I hope you like it, but I think it's time, and I've got a new project going on that I think it's going to be pretty cool. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but I think that's part of the intent behind it. So if you've just tuned in or it's been a while since you heard from me, I'm going to read this thing quickly. So when I was about 7 years old, I knew that I wanted to become a video game artist. And so I started training from the age of 7 years old, if you could imagine, with paper. We didn't even have computers back then, but started filling up notebooks with character designs and level designs and whatnot. I got my first big break working in animation. It was Flash animation during the dot-com boom. We were doing things for TV. And then I got an even bigger break when I joined the team doing previs for X-Men 2. And the scene that I spent a lot of time on was breaking Magneto out of the plastic prison, which I just loved that, like all the breaking glass and everything. That was so much fun. And it was a great place to start, and got to work on a bunch of other superhero movies there. From there, because I did still want to make video games, I opened my own video games art studio in China, which is just kind of insane to go to China and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to open up the studio in a place where I don't speak the language. But that's what I did. And that studio was later acquired and merged with a larger AAA studio where we had all the kind of top name clients, EA, Activision, CCP. We worked at pretty much all the big names, as well as a lot of lesser known names, and worked on big properties and small ones. What are some of the big ones? Like we worked on Call of Duty at that time, and Ghostbusters and Bomberman, and I don't know, just tons of different things. It was really cool. And I got to a lot of experience in understanding the workflows of a lot of different studios. From there, I went and joined Activision as they were ramping up their studio overseas. And finally, after a few years there, I left games to start understanding more about the business and marketing side of things. And I started building art education businesses, namely Pencil Kings, which this is the Pencil Kings podcast. And more recently, Evolve Artist, who is our sponsor for today. And I'm just going to give a quick shout out, like why I started Evolve and what was the thought behind that, was that from where I sat and I looked at a lot of different things online, YouTube came in, and it was awesome because so many amazing artists could just give their training for free, and there was a platform you didn't have to pay for hosting or any of that stuff. But from the education side, it was a little bit like, oh, okay, so now just everyone's going to give their stuff away for free, which is it's funny because as artists, we want to make money, but then we also want to give things away for free, and we're constantly like fighting between the two of those. If you go to other industries, I don't know if there's an industry that gives away as much as artists on the low level. Like once you get into big corporate levels, yeah, sure, they have giving programs and whatnot. But artists are super generous. But I think as a community, we're also kind of the enemy of ourselves as well. But so noticing that, it was kind of like, well, you can get training all over the place, and it's amazing. But I still kept seeing people struggling. And so that's when I started asking, like, well, what would a results guaranteed program look like? Which sounds crazy to guarantee results in art. But that's what attracts me, is things that seem crazy. Going to China, starting a business where I don't speak the language is, it is a little bit crazy. But it's also a challenge. I seriously thought that if I could go to China and make a go of it and learn the language, that I could do anything, that I would basically be unstoppable. That was the test. And so anyway, Evolve came out of asking that question. And the student results are insane. That you can see some of them on the website, and we're going to be having more of them, but I am just completely blown away pretty much every day. We built a whole custom software to display the student results to the students who are inside the program. But the thing that I think is cool right now, because this video is going to come out, I believe it's on the 23rd of September, is that I know some people are in areas where they're stuck inside, and so Evolve is a great way to hop in on a program. I would say it's an investment, because I really compare Evolve to what I wish I would have learned in college for a painting program, because it's going to give you that realistic foundation. And half of the cost is for materials, and half of the cost is for the instruction and running the program and improving it, and all the instructors that check your homework daily and all that kind of good stuff. But what's so cool is if you're feeling a little bit detached from other people, art is the common language. We have 2 rules. It's like no politics, no religion. So art is kind of the thing that unites everybody. And then we have lots of different social gatherings online, where basically you just go to the designated spot, click a link and open it up, and then you see all these other artists who are working on their paintings, so you don't feel alone. You're hanging out with other people. When you've got questions, the other students know like how to answer your questions, because they've already solved that problem, because the education is extremely structured, which I think is why it's so successful. So anyway, if you're interested, go and check out evolveartist.com. And if you've been there before, there is a new webinar video that you can see. Kevin is the curriculum creator and the co-founder of the program, where he goes through, and you can see his studio where he developed it. I mean, the curriculum has been developed over, I think now it's about 11 years. And so we don't show this on the website, but when I first went to the school, and if you were to go to his school, you would see like 12, 13-year-old kids who can paint photorealistically. And to me, it was like, well, if it's good enough for these kids, it should be good enough for adults. And just go check it out. It's people often think of it, it's this online class. It's not an online class. It's a college replacement for what you may pay, upwards $50,000, $100,000 to go to art school, and you can study anywhere in the world. All right, so today what I want to talk about, because I'm the only person here, is a new project that I have going on. It's one of these crazy things, but I hope that me taking action gives you a little bit of permission that you can do some crazy things in your own life. I know I've structured my life in a way that I can take these risks and figure some things out and be the first one to go and brave new trails so that other people can follow. I know a lot of things have been done online. I know people do even crazier things. That's all well and good. But the other day, Reddit is my sort of social media let's just say like addiction of choice. And so I was scrolling through and saw this video where this guy, he posted, it was a picture of him holding a robot, like it was like 2 legs, and it looked kind of weird. And he said it was something like day 50 of 100 of the Not Afraid to Fail challenge. So this just immediately like blew up my mind, because the idea that what if you couldn't fail? And I don't know why in a lot of areas of life, like I feel, I have the same fear of failure. But when it came to building my art career, there was literally no fear. And when you can operate from that place, it's only a matter of time before things happen. And when I look back at what I was able to do in the short amount of time, I had so many lucky breaks in a row that eventually you're just like, well, I don't think this is luck anymore. Like things are just happening and you just show up every day. But the thing was, I was having a blast the entire time. Like I absolutely loved working in movies and working in games until I didn't. And then once I got to the point where I didn't love it anymore, which was about let's say like 10 years of working. Then I left, and that's totally fine. It was fine to kind of like reinvent myself and go in a different direction. But anyway, I saw this video and I just thought, wow, this is really cool, because I've heard of people doing 100-day challenges before. It's a common thing that I've seen for people who have websites. When I try to go to conferences and learn from people who are much better or much further along than I am, because I think when it comes to art and when it comes to mindset and having a career and improving your style or your skill or whatever, I've got that down, and I would say I'm an expert at that. After working on so many projects and being in outsourcing, we just had to be good at so many different things that you just gain an awesome experience very quickly. But when it comes to business and being seen and being known, that's where I feel the fear. I am afraid. If you look at my Instagram, my personal Instagram, I think I have 200 followers, something like that. And I don't quite enjoy it. But that is going to change. And so this video, seeing this guy where he was basically trying to teach a robot to walk. And I'm not sure, I don't know much about robotics. I don't know how hard it is to make a robot to walk, but I'm imagining it's not super easy, because I haven't seen a robot like running around and, on a basketball court or anything yet. And so he was doing this and he showed all these failures, and it was basically just a clip of this robot falling down. But it kept getting a little bit better, and he was trying experiments and he was trying new things. And while I was watching this, it brought me back to this idea of people growing their businesses and being seen. And it's just like, this is the thing to do. And I'm great at just jumping into things and taking action and figuring it out along the way. So that's exactly what I'm doing. If you've ever looked at some of my stuff, I'm like, man, I don't know, it doesn't seem to have the polish. What I've come to realize about myself is I'm not the polish guy. I'm the guy that will just get it started. And then I need to bring other people in around me who are like great at the polish and who love doing the polish stuff to do that. But in the meantime, I've got enough skills to put everything together. So I don't know where you are, but I'm hoping that what has come out of this is going to inspire you. So there is something about that makes it just easier as an artist if you're seen, if you're known, if you have some kind of a presence online. I think we can all agree about this. When I was coming up, there wasn't really the equivalent. When I was building my career, we didn't even have Facebook yet. I already had my own art studio before Facebook. There was no YouTube when I had my own art studio. So all the stuff that we are like majorly addicted to these days, like it didn't exist when I was building my career. But this idea of 100 days committing to something, there is so much power in this. And so that's what I'm doing. And what I'm committing to personally, and you can follow along with my journey, is I'm committing to releasing a video that's, I hope, helpful, just like I've been doing these podcasts. But I think on the podcast, I've been interviewing other people because, like I was saying earlier, when it came to building my career, not really afraid. I just did stuff and I love doing it. And I think that love for the craft was enough. But when it comes to being seen, it's a whole different thing, because I've been attacked online. I told stories about this. I've been attacked for my art when I was a kid. And so I just feel like there's a safe place with being an artist and no one ever knowing that you're an artist, which is really, it's really tough, because it's like you're working against yourself. And the analogy that I came up with, and where I felt like I've been for the last probably like at least 5 years, is it's like this little hatchback car that is trying to go fast. I mean, it's a hatchback, and imagine like a 90s hatchback, not something new and green or anything, like a 90s hatchback, something like from Wayne's World. And it's got the emergency brake on and it's trying to go fast. And so it's like pedal to the metal. It's making a lot of noise and it's moving a little bit, but it's not moving a lot. And because the emergency brake is on, the tires are like glowing red hot, and they're just like, it's just not a good scene. And internally, that's really how I feel like I've been operating for a long time. And so something has to change. And I don't know if you're stuck, like some of you listening may have giant social media followings, and like it's amazing because we're all sort of on our own journey. But for those who who are in the same boat, who could use a little bit more direction, a little bit more focus. I don't know where you want to apply pressure. For me, it's being seen more, because I think that's the thing that I'm afraid of. And if I'm to look at a challenge, a worthy challenge of, if you look at it through the lens of not being afraid to fail, what is that challenge? I've got a couple questions here, which I think may give you some clues. And if you're listening and you got a pen or something, here you go. What have you accomplished this year? Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to back up for 1 second. So this idea of 100 days in a row, here's exactly what it is. Show up for at least one focused hour. So that means phone is on airplane mode. You're in your separate room, or you're at a place where you can get work done. If that means going to a coffee shop, you're going to a coffee shop. Whatever it is, but it's somewhere that you can focus for an hour. Because I think we live in a world where it's very easy to get distracted by a lot of things. And so it's just claiming an hour back for yourself, and then you can go back to whatever it was before. And doing that every single day for 100 days. Do not miss a single day. The last 2 nights, I've been up until midnight. I usually go to bed at like 9:30. So I'm up way past my bedtime because I've been working on my project, which is releasing YouTube videos. All right. So 100 days, at least an hour a day. And then you just choose what you want to work on, but you be consistent. You commit to it. You don't change what that thing is on like day 15 because you get bored. So, if you're somebody who wants to work on your graphic novel, and that's the thing that you want to show up for yourself and do for 100 days, you do that. Because if you look at the calendar, or if you go to Google and you type in 100 days from today, what you will find is that in 100 days, it is actually January 1st. And so I think that's pretty cool, because I think we can all agree that 2020 hasn't been the most exciting, well, actually, maybe it's been the most exciting year, but I don't think it's been a year where there's been a lot of certainty, because like all kinds of crazy things are happening. And that's fine. It just is what it is, right? We can't control all these external events, but we can still make this year a win no matter what for us, for ourselves personally, by taking control of things that we can control, which is that hour a day, right? You can carve out an hour a day. And if you're like, well, I don't have time, Mitch, I actually released a YouTube video, I think 1 or 2 days ago. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Pencil Kings, time for art, it should come up. And it'll give you the exact strategy that I use to get time for my project, and that I've used throughout my entire career. Like before I was even hired, I used this to find time for my art so I could develop my skills. And then after I was hired and things kind of were crazy, I used it to like start my first online business. So the strategy just works. But basically 100 days from the release date, when you're listening to this, if it's day 1, it's January 1st. If you're listening to this later, it doesn't matter. You can do this 100-day challenge anytime you want. You could do back-to-back 100-day challenges. But the thing is, like, do 100 days and then at the end, celebrate. Like, figure out some way to reward yourself, because this is not easy to be this consistent. All right. So, here are the questions to ask. What kind of thing you could do to like have fun with this 100-day challenge? So first of all, what have you actually accomplished this year? Just take stock and think back. What I found working with myself, just journaling, internal reflection, working with a whole team, because we have a whole team that works on Evolve Artists. We have a team that works on Pencil Kings. We often forget, both personally and as a team, all the amazing stuff that we accomplished like even 3 months ago. And so think back to 2020, January 1st, and then go into a rewind. What have you actually accomplished this year? And how do you feel about that accomplishment? Are you like, yeah? Are you heck yeah? This has been an awesome year. I did a lot of amazing things, that's how I feel. I feel like it's already been an amazing year, but I'm going to make it even more amazing in this next or last, depending on how you look at it, 100 days. But maybe you feel like, man, I had big intentions at the beginning of the year, but then I just kind of fell off. And I just want to say that this 100-day goal doesn't necessarily have to be an art goal. I'm using it for for my own art and being seen, but you can use it for however you want. For you, it could just be like, man, I'm going to be healthier, so I'm going to spend an hour a day letting there be time and space to cook a healthy meal or to go for a run or whatever it is. But you're just going to be consistent. So what have you already accomplished this year? First question. Now, what do you want to accomplish going forward? Like, there's 100 days left. That's enough time to do something amazing. What do you want to accomplish? So just write that question down right now, keep listening, and then come back to those questions once you're done listening here. All right, couple more questions here. And these are the tougher questions because you just got to get a little bit real with yourself. What have you not done because you're afraid of being judged? Now, this is a tough one for me. I haven't been releasing these videos because I'm afraid of being judged online. And I'll make a video later about all the actual things that I'm afraid of being judged on. But that was the first question. Second one, what have you not done because you don't think you can do it? All right. And so just to make this concrete, like I don't think I can run a marathon. I'm just being completely real. I just don't think I can do it. And so that would be like a physical test example of something where you're like, lots of people have run marathons. So I know that I could train for it. I could totally do it. But there's something in my brain right now that I still believe I can't do it. So if you're taking this in a creative avenue, what is something that you have not done because you don't think you can do it? All right. And just be honest. It's okay. Nobody's going to look at your list. This is just for you being real with yourself so that you can move forward. Next question. What have you not done because someone told you you're not good enough? Now, I had this one personally a couple times. I remember when I started Pencil Kings, I made a tutorial about how to draw a cartoon boy's face, and I was told this is not good enough by someone. And instead of just saying like, no, I don't believe you, I'm just going to keep getting better, I just stopped. I didn't make any videos. I didn't make any courses for Pencil Kings for the longest time. And then when I did make courses, they were not illustration courses. They were more like mindset courses. So I just let that person kind of like take my power. And I've heard lots of different people have this story where an art teacher or someone that they look up to, a parent, aunt, uncle, but usually it's like somebody that you respect in some way, like they're older than you, or you think that they're wiser than you, or they have more experience or something, and they told you, you're not good enough at art, you shouldn't do it. That's a perfect example of something you have not done because someone told you you're not good enough. And I'm going to tell you right now, that person was full of shit. And do not let that person continue to hold power over you any longer. That does not serve you at all. And so, I hear this in Pencil Kings a lot. I hear it in Evolve Artist a lot, where people are like, I just had this art teacher. They told me I should give up. And the next thing I know, like 2 or 3 months later, that person's making photorealistic paintings or realistic, whatever. But they're making realistic oil paintings. And it's just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like the transformation and what's possible when you're able to just, have someone show you the right steps. And that's what I'm trying to do here, to give you the right steps to give yourself a challenge, something you can do ideally just for fun for 100 days. All right, next question. What have you not done because everyone else is better than you? I can point to a lot of people who are better podcasters than me, better YouTube people than me, but it's like, screw it. You just got to show up and be okay at being wherever you're at and move forward. And so the way that I've thought about this is that, and made it more concrete, is that, like, would you scold a baby who is trying to crawl? I don't know. I don't have any of my own kids, but I lived with my brother for a while when there was a new baby in the house, and it was like I was just amazed at the process of a human developing. And the correct answer, if you've not had that experience, is like, no, you would not scold a baby for like trying to learn to crawl or trying to learn to walk or whatever. You encourage it. But here's the thing: when it comes to ourselves, we beat ourselves like senseless. We just beat ourselves up like, oh, why can't you be better at this thing? And I'm just going to tell you that it is completely okay to just say, you know what? I'm not an expert at this thing. I'm just starting, and it's okay to start. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down and to not have everything figured out. And you'll see this. And this is what I really hope that my mission in life, like if I have a mission, why I think I'm put on this planet, is to just serve it as an example so other people can say like, oh, well, that guy isn't afraid to fail. Like, look, he did so, like when I first saw this thing, I didn't think it was that impressive. But then when I saw where he was in 6 months, it was like, wow, now I can see the transformation. And this is the whole thing. This is why you do the 100-day challenge or something like this. And so my first YouTube video, for example, like I just, every time I do one, I make a couple notes. What am I going to improve next time? And I'll give you an example of how simple these improvements are. Video 1, I was slightly off to the right or to the left. I can't remember which one, but I was off center in the frame. And it was like, so that was the improvement. Next time I make a video, just try to sit in the center of the frame. Like, how easy is that? And then the video after that was like, hey, try raising the lights a little bit so that the video is more clear. And then the next one was like, hey, look at some examples of what other people have done for thumbnails and see if you can improve your thumbnails a little bit. And so all these things are just tiny changes. But if you do that 100 times, by the end, it's like, wow, these videos are really tight. You're amazing at making videos. Like, no, I'm not amazing at making videos. I just committed every day to learning a little bit and then taking action, but basically just not being afraid to fail and then publishing it. All right. So I hope that you wrote down those questions. I'm going to read them one more time here, but what have you not done because you're afraid of being judged? What have you not done because you don't think you can do it? What have you not done because someone told you you're not good enough? Or what have you not done because everyone else is better than you? These are examples of questions to ask so that you can choose something that it's probably going to be a little bit scary, but once you just say like, hey, I'm just going to let go of fear and I'm just going to show up and move forward anyway, and see what happens. Just be open to the adventure. I don't know what's going to happen if I make a video for 100 days. I have things that I hope will happen and that I think might happen. I know that I will get much better at making videos. I know that I will get much faster at making videos. I know that I will know if I like making videos or not after 100 videos. I might hate it and just be like, okay, it was a fun experiment and I'm not going to do this anymore. But during the process of this 100 days, because I'm choosing, instead of choosing to feel afraid or like I'm unknowledgeable, I'm not good enough, I'm just having fun with it and allowing there to be space. And I want the same thing for you to just be like, man, I've been beating myself up about my art or not practicing enough or having knowledge gaps. But you know what? Mitch is right. I'm just going to have fun with it. At least for an hour a day, right? It's not too difficult. And so if you're interested, you can follow along with my journey over at, on YouTube. If you just look up Pencil Kings on YouTube. And if you're interested in doing your own 100-day challenge, I set up a website for this. And if you go right now when this podcast is released, you'll see, wow, it's a pretty bare bones website. It's like, yeah, exactly. We're just going fast. We're just taking action. We're not afraid to fail. But if you listen to this a year later, you'll be like, whoa, this is like really nice and polished. It's like, yeah, because that's how it works. So I set up a website over at 100dayartist.com. That's 100 and then day artist, 100dayartist.com. And you can pick up this challenge anytime that you want. I started mine and I'm going to end on Christmas, December 25th. So I'm about a week ahead of you, but it doesn't matter. Just start whenever you want. Pick this up whenever you want. If you fall off and you miss a day, don't worry. Just get back on and complete your 100 days. But if you do this, what I am very curious to see is something that you produced on day 1 versus something that you produced, like, let's say on day 50 versus something that you produced on day 100. I just think this transformation, whatever it is that you're going to do, right? Because you could use this for fitness, you could use it in so many different ways. But I'm interested in the transformation. So if you could drop me a line, Mitch@pencilkings.com, I would love to hear about what this transformation is. If it's a super amazing, inspiring transformation, then I would love to make a video with you or have you on the podcast or whatever. So, couple more questions before we go here, because I think I hope you're feeling inspired. I hope you're feeling excited, but it can all come crashing down pretty quickly unless you figure out these two things. So, whenever you're doing a creative project or something like this, it's in jeopardy because it's something new, right? So whenever you're trying to change, you're working against the ingrained patterns and routines that you've already set up. And there's lots of science on this. So just trust me that it's hard to do something new, and it's hard or it can be hard to have an extra hour. It can also be easy, but I think for a lot of people, it might be easy to start, but then something happens and then all of a sudden you miss a day and then you feel discouraged, and then things kind of fall off the rails from there. So here are the questions. What are you, actually there's going to be 3 questions. I only wrote 2, but what are you going to do to make time? In the video that I put up on YouTube, just as a reminder, the real trick here is, for me now in the morning, the first 2 hours of my morning, I usually get up at about 6 a.m. So from 6 until 8 a.m., I focus on this project as much as I can. It doesn't always happen exactly like that, but that's the time that I use, because I know for me that sleep is the most important thing. So I need to get my sleep, and in the morning I can be in control of my day. But then as the day gets going, Pencil Kings and Evolve, the teams come online and there's questions to be answered and students are going through programs. So what are you going to do to make time? All right, first question. Second question, what are you not going to do to make time? So this is a little bit different way to approach this, but what are you not going to do? There's lots of things that you could not do. And here's an example. When I wrote my book, it's called Digital Artist Career Blueprint. If you're curious about my career or whatever, I talked about it a little bit at the beginning. If you go to Amazon, if you look up Mitch Bowler, or if you look up Digital Artist Career Blueprint, you can see it. That during that time of my life, I was living with my brother, and every night we would, in the evenings, when I kind of wanted to hang out with him in the house, everybody would just sit on their phones and then watch reruns of The Office or Friends or whatever's on Netflix. And at first, I just kind of went along with it, but then after a while, I got frustrated because it's like, I am literally wasting my life here because I don't even necessarily like these TV shows, or I've already watched them. So I'm just rewatching something that I've already seen. No one's talking. Everyone's just like going through whatever's on their phone. I'm going to make something happen. And so in 3 weeks, I went to Starbucks every night and wrote a book. So going back to the question, what are you not going to do to make time? I'm not going to watch Netflix. That's a very easy way. If you watch an hour a day or whatever it is, you just have to disrupt that routine and boom, now you've got time for 100 days. You can always go back to Netflix, and here's the secret. Nobody will tell you. When you take a break from Netflix and you come back, there's even more good stuff to watch, and you don't have to watch the kind of mediocre stuff because there's only good stuff that's come out while you've taken a little break. All right, so that's one way that you could not do something, like you could not play video games. But I know you've got your own life. You know what's going on, but it's a great question. What are you going to do to make time? But also, what are you not going to do to make time? Now, the other one is, where are you going to take your time? This one, again, super important. Like the last example, I went to Starbucks because what I found, and if you're a writer, Starbucks is the cheat code because you basically go. I always buy a coffee, and I try to buy one coffee per about an hour and a half. I don't know if there's like some kind of respectable code, but I do try to support the business because I feel like I would never just go to somewhere and not be a patron. I think they're providing you a space and you have to support the business. That's kind of the agreement. So anyway, go there, and basically there's nothing to do. You don't just like suddenly get that spark of an idea. It's like, oh, I got to do the laundry. But you're at Starbucks. You can't, there's no, you can't do your own laundry. You got to wait to do that until you get home. The other thing is like, you don't want to lose your spot. So you don't take bathroom breaks as well, or at least I don't. And so I work as long as I can until it's like almost unbearable. And then when I need that bathroom break, it's like, all right, I'm packing it up and it's time to go. But I had like the most focused hour or hour and a half that I have had all day, because I was in a place where I could do that kind of work. So think about this one. It's really important. I know these days for me, when I'm doing writing for scripts for these YouTube videos that I've been talking about, I go and sit in a specific comfy chair and I use my specific laptop, and I take my phone and I put my phone in airplane mode, but I also put my phone in another room, and then I set a timer for an hour or an hour and a half or whatever so that it will beep when I need to kind of get back into real life. And that's what I do. So figure out those things for yourself. And if you're interested, I'll be talking more about this in the coming weeks as I get things set up. But like I said, I'm just having fun with this. This is me getting to finish 2020 on a high note and have some wins and have some fun. And I hope inspire some people. And yeah, I think it's going to kick off something insanely cool. And I'll be talking more about that later. I know I'll be better at making videos. So I'm going to have tons of good things happen for me, and I want tons of good things to happen for you. And the amazing and best part about this is you can do it anytime. If you're watching this later, if it's 2025 and you're listening to this, I mean, go for it. You don't have to wait for anything to do it. You just have to say, hey, I'm going to make this happen, and just make sure it's something that you want to work on or that you're interested in. And I think those questions that I read off earlier, I'll just read them one more time here, because I think they're super important questions. It helps you go a couple layers deeper. Because if I ask, well, what do you want to do? You might have seen something inspiring yesterday, and so that's the thing. But really, there's like a deeper thing. And so those questions are, what have you not done because you're afraid of being judged? What have you not done because you don't think you can do it? What have you not done because someone told you you're not good enough? And what have you not done because everyone else is better than you? Or it seems like everyone else is better than you. Those are the questions, super powerful, allow you to go deeper and find an answer that you already know what your 100-day challenge could or should be. And then all you have to do is just make it happen. So I'll be back next week, and thanks for tuning in. Well, I'll be back next week with a guest. I got a lot of cool guests lined up, and have an awesome week. And maybe I'll see you in the comments on YouTube. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and as usual, I want to announce this. If you're interested, show notes will be over at pencilkings.com/podcast, where you'll see the latest episode up there. And so if you missed some of the links I said before, 100-Day Artist was kind of like the main one for the challenge. All that stuff will be there, and we'll make sure that the questions get up there as well. And that's it. Have a great week. Bye.